everybody, and welcome back to our lesson videos. Today we're going to be talking about lesson 8-5, which discusses distance and how to find out on a coordinate plane. So let's get started. Alright, so Miss Carpenter went hunting on YouTube to see if she can find something, a video that was reliable and kind of gave you a different sounding voice than ours. So feel free to copy this link here into your search engine, and you feel free to watch this all the way through. It really breaks it down step by step on how to solve this problem. So we're going to watch the first couple of minutes of it, and then we're going to get started on some more of our lesson. Okay? Just remember that when you're talking about distance, you don't use negative numbers. We're going to talk about that right now.
Finding the distance between 2 points on a coordinate plane. Well, how do I find the distance between 2 points? Well, if you're given a coordinate plane, it's actually really easy. Let's take a look at this example. So if you were asked to find the distance between 6, 4 and 6, -7, let's start with 6, 4. How far is this point from the x-axis? Well, it's 4 units away from the x-axis. What about this point? Well, this point, down here, 6, -7, is actually 7 away from the x-axis, because the absolute value of -7 would be 7. And then all you have to do is add up the distance here, the distance here. The distance between these 2 points would be 11 units. Let's take a look at another one. What about the distance between these 2 points? Well, it's easy to see this is just 1 away from the y-axis. What about this point? How far away is it from the y-axis? Well, it's at -8, and the absolute value of -8 is 8. So this is 8, this is 1. The distance then between these 2 points would be 9 units. Let's take a look at one more. What about the distance between these 2 points? Well, we'll start here at -6, 5. How far away is that from the x-axis? Well, it's 5 away. And how far is this point from the x-axis? The absolute value of -10 is 10. It's 10 away. So we just add up these two distances, and the distance between those 2 points would be 15 units.
Alright, so you guys kind of get an idea of how this works. So what you are doing is you're looking at the numbers that do not match, and you're finding the distance between those 2 numbers. Okay? So take your time. If you guys want to watch this one later, the link is, again, right here on the side, and you can put that into your search engine and watch it when you have time. I just won't have time to record the whole thing. Okay? Alright. So remember to use the steps that you took notes on in the video. So when you're finding distance, you're going to do the same thing here. Go ahead and create a coordinate plane on your notebook. If you need to get some graph paper out, that might be a good idea, so that way you don't have to draw the grids. Okay? So what you are going to do is you're going to use the same method that the man used in the video, and you're going to find the distance between 4, 2 and 4, -2. Okay? Go ahead and write down the question so you know what your goal is when you come back to your notes and look them over. That way you're not confused as to like, what the heck was I doing? If you have an explanation, it is way easier to remember. Okay? So go ahead and see if you can figure this one out, pause the video, and then when you think you know it, play the video and I'll show you the answer. Okay, so I hope you went ahead and created your coordinate plane using some graph paper. Or if you don't have graph paper, I really hope you're a good artist, because Ms. Kennedy definitely is it, so I use graph paper. So your 4, 2 is 2 units away from the x-axis. And you can see that it lines up with this 2 right here on the number. Oh, go back. Sorry, my pen just kind of made a channel change. It is lined up with this 2 right here. So this is 2 units up. Okay, this one down here is 2 units down. Alright, so you're using absolute value. the absolute value of positive 2 plus the absolute value of negative 2. Well, earlier in the lesson, we talked about what absolute value means, and absolute value is telling you how many spaces away from 0. So this 2 is going to be 2, and negative 2, the absolute value, is still 2. And I really hope that you guys understand that 2 plus 2 is 4, and 2 plus 2 is always 4. Okay? So this is a quick way to have to do this. Some of you guys have been really adamant on counting. Like you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's fine, but it wastes time. And the point of math is to figure out quick ways to solve problems. So just doing quick mental math, like, okay, that's 2 units, that's 2 units, 2 plus 2 is 4. What is the distance? All right, let's look at another example. All right, so I want you to copy this in your notebook. Your example is this, and you want to copy down the example and the grid. So you should have some room on your your graph paper, and I would like you to glue that into your activity side of your notebook. If you're in my class, you know what that is. If you are not in my class, that's your decision to work with that. So your cousin rides the subway to work. His trip is shown on the coordinate plane. Each grid line represents 1 block. So each of those little squares represents 1 block. Okay? The first question asks this. What is the distance between the start and station 1? Now, when I say the start, I don't mean the origin. Maybe they're actually talking about where the start of the problem is. Okay? And here's a quick hint, just so you guys know. When the 2 points that you're measuring the distance from are in the same quadrant, you're going to subtract the difference. So both the station 1 and start 1 are in quadrant 1. So this is going to be a subtraction problem. You can do 10 minus 6. And then I'll tell you the distance between station 1 and the start. Okay, just 4 units. Now, a common thing that I've seen a lot of is this. People will start at one of the dots. Let me go ahead and click on my pen color. And you'll count the spaces like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's all fine and dandy. I mean, it still gives you the same answer sometimes. Sometimes you'll remember that on the IXL assignments, each of these kind of skipped by 2s sometimes, and sometimes they skip by 1, sometimes they skip by 3s. And so it's better if you look at your number lines instead of counting the spaces, because those spaces might be skipping by 1s or 3s or 5s or whatever, okay? So I would definitely look at what the number says on the grid rather than counting each individual space. Now let's go over B. What is the distance between station 1 and the end? Now remember, station 1 is not the start, okay? And the second rule is if your points are in different quadrants, so station 1 is in quadrant 1, and the end is in quadrant 2. You are actually going to be adding these distances together. Okay? So we can go ahead, blank plus blank equals blank. That's what we're going to figure out. Alright, so we can see that station 1, we're trying to figure out how many spaces away from 0 is that. Now again, we can do the count 1 by 1 method, but that's not always going to be exact. Look instead at the numbers on your number line. 2, 4. This one right here is on 6. Okay? So we're going to do the absolute value of 6 plus, and you can go to your other one where the end is, which is on negative 4, the absolute value of negative 4. Okay? We talked about absolute value a lot. We know that a negative number doesn't talk about distance. So the absolute value of negative 4 would just be positive 4. Negative 4 is 4 spaces away from 0. And the absolute value of 6 is just 6. So if you were to add 4 plus 6, well, that'll give us 10. Okay? And just in case what we talked about didn't make much sense, I also have this beautiful thingy thing right here. This gives you the answers for what we just did and how to find those answers. Okay? Moving on. Copy this problem into your book. Now I want you to see if you can figure out what the answer is without looking at the answer on here. I gave that penguin a belly button. Let me erase that. Alright, so you're copying down a city planner is using a coordinate plane to plan a new city park. The four corners of a rectangular dog park will be located at -3, 1, -3, 8, 5, 8, and 5, 1. What is the area of the dog park? Now look over here on the side. In case you forget to find the formula for area, here's what it is. Okay, on the third bullet point. If you need to draw a coordinate grid and sketch out the coordinates that are listed, you can do that. It's totally fine. Again, earlier in the video I talked about you guys can grab some graph paper if that's still open. Find the distance between each set of points to determine the length of each side of the rectangle. So before you do step 2, go ahead and plot your 4 points. Okay, so create your coordinate grid or your coordinate plane, whatever you want to call it, and plot your 4 points. Your goal is to figure out how tall your rectangle is and how wide your rectangle is. Alright, and your formula is right here. Use the formula area equals length times width to find the area of the dog park. Alright, after you plot your points and when you figure out what the area is, go ahead and push play and see if you got the answer correct. Okay? So go ahead and pause and finish working out your problem. Alright, so we just figured out what the area of a dog park is. Here is your answer. So your length is 7 units and your width is 8 units. And so area of a square or area of a rectangle is area equals length times width, 8 times 7, which is 56 units squared. Okay. Alright, here is how to find a right triangle. You don't have to copy this one down, but you can go ahead and plot it on either your desk or on your whiteboard to see if you can find the area of this triangle. Here is your formula. Here are your points. Plug in those points first and then find your area. Okay? Don't forget the 1/2 part. Alright, I want you to figure this one out by yourself. When you think you've got it, check with a teacher and see if it's correct. If not, then you need to look at it one more time. And if you can't figure it out, ask a neighbor or a teacher to walk you through how to figure it out. Okay? Again, don't forget about the 1/2. So it's 1/2 times base times height. When you finish this part, go ahead and get onto digits and complete the 8-5 section. Good luck on your work. I hope you have a good afternoon.